Thanks for staying with us. You're watching WION World is One. I'm Adhya Juneja and this is Speed News. Let's start with all the stories making headlines today. Iran's Islamic Revolution Guard Corps Navy said that 25 vessels passed through the Strait of Hormuz over the past 24 hours under its coordination and security protection. In a statement published by the IRGC's official news outlet, the IRGC Navy said the vessels, including oil tankers, container ships and other commercial vessels, safely transited the strategic waterway after obtaining authorization. Well, the statement added that the IRGC Navy is firmly carrying out intelligent control over the Strait of Hormuz, warning that any act of aggression would be met with a strong and crushing response. China's Foreign Ministry spokesperson Mao Ning urged Washington and Tehran to return to dialogue and honor ceasefire commitments. The Foreign Ministry warned that disputes must be resolved through peaceful means following fresh US strikes on Iranian targets. US President Donald Trump again hit out at the US media coverage of the West Asia conflict. Donald Trump posted a fiery message on Truth Social saying that even if Iran surrenders and admits military defeat, some US media outlets would report it as an Iranian victory. Trump called Democrats and several US news agencies dishonest and crazy. Israel has said that its forces have eliminated Mohammad Odeh, the new commander of the military wing of Hamas and one of the architects of the October 7th massacre. Odeh was appointed as chief of the Al-Qassam brigades after his predecessor was killed in a strike in Gaza earlier in May. It was not immediately clear if he had been killed in Tuesday's strike. Gaza Civil Defense Agency, which operates as a rescue service under Hamas, reported that at least 3 people were killed and 20 wounded in an Israeli airstrike in the Rimal neighborhood in western Gaza City. Israel launched more than 120 airstrikes on Lebanon as Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the country was intensifying its military operation there. On Tuesday, the Lebanese Health Ministry said 31 people were killed in Israeli strikes. It included at least 4 children and 3 women. 40 others were wounded. The strikes came as Israeli military issued evacuations warnings for at least 50 southern and eastern towns and villages, including Nabatea city. An Israeli military official told AFP that troops had begun operating beyond the Israel-announced Yellow Line in South Lebanon, which runs around 10 kilometers deep inside Lebanese territory. The US military launched another strike on a vessel suspected of transporting drugs in the eastern Pacific Ocean, killing 1 man and leaving 2 survivors. Video posted by US Southern Command shows a boat speeding through water before exploding into flames. Southern Command said it immediately notified the US Coast Guard to activate the search and rescue team for the survivors. The Pentagon watchdog said last week that it will evaluate whether the US military followed an established targeting framework when carrying out the attacks on alleged drug smuggling boats. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton has defeated Senator John Cornyn for the Republican Senate nomination. Paxton secured the victory despite concerns from some Republicans about his electability and a late endorsement from President Donald Trump. Paxton, who was impeached by the State House on corruption charges but acquitted by the State Senate, will now face Democratic State Representative James Talarico in the midterm elections. A chemical tank imploded and ruptured at a Nippon Dynawave packaging facility in Washington, resulting in 1 death and 9 injuries, while 9 others remained unaccounted for as of Tuesday night. Fire department officials stated that there is no immediate threat to the surrounding community but advised residents to continue avoiding the area while emergency crews work to secure the site. Federal agents fired pepper balls at protesters outside Delaney Hall in Newark following days of unrest outside the privately run immigration detention center. U.S. Senator Andy Kim said he had trouble breathing after being caught in the cloud of pepper spray deployed as a growing crowd of protesters responding to an inmate hunger strike demonstrated outside. According to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, about 125 protesters gathered outside the facility over the weekend, at one point formed a human chain and makeshift barricades. U.S. President Donald Trump has said that his latest medical checkup went perfectly, as questions surrounding the health of the oldest president ever sworn into office continues to draw attention ahead of his 80th birthday. The U.S. president underwent his third medical examination since returning to office last year. The checkup comes amid increasing public scrutiny over visible bruising on his hand, reports of leg swelling, and instances where he appeared drowsy during official engagements. U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance has praised Pope Leo's manifesto warning of risks of artificial intelligence. He called it profound and a necessary act of moral leadership in a disruptive AI age. In his first major policy document as Pope, Leo did not speak about AI as a distant future threat, but he spoke about it as a present-day global crisis. The first American Pope warned that AI systems are already spreading misinformation, deepening conflicts, threatening jobs, and creating dangerous new forms of warfare. He urged restraint that doesn't stop progress but rather functions as the exercise of responsible care for the human family. The first group of Ghanaian internationals departed South Africa aboard a repatriation flight amid anti-immigration protests that heightened fears among foreign communities. The group included women and children as authorities began a voluntary relocation process for citizens who said they don't and no longer feel safe. One Ghana person preparing to leave said repeated harassment drove the decision. Brazilian Senator Flavio Bolsonaro, a hopeful in Brazil's 2026 presidential election, confirmed on social media that he met with US President Donald Trump at the White House. The senator, the eldest son of former President Jair Bolsonaro, posted on social media a photo with Trump at the Oval Office. Bolsonaro had said earlier in the day that he would have a high-profile meeting at the White House without providing details. He did not comment further about the meeting with Trump. A train crashed into a school at a level crossing in the Belgian town of Bergenhout, killing 4 people. 2 students, drivers and chaperone died in the incident, while police spokesperson said the crossing safety barriers were down when the accident happened. It was unclear how the van got through the barriers and into the path of the train, whose 100-odd passengers did not suffer any major injuries. North Korea tested a new lightweight multi-purpose missile launching system and a multi-tactical cruise missile weapon system the previous day. The tests previously reported by South Korea's military were overseen by the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. South Korea said on Tuesday the North fired several projectiles, including a ballistic missile, off its west coast. This marks the latest in a flurry of tests this year. Seoul said the missiles flew about 80 kilometers. Thousands of people took part in an opposition rally in Tbilisi to celebrate Independence Day and protest the current political situation in Georgia. Members of opposition parties and civil society have accused the governing Georgian Dream Party of steering the country away from its European path and introducing laws that curb civil liberties and freedom of speech. Senegal's parliament elected Ousmane Sonko as its speaker. Well, this comes days after President Bassirou Faye fired him as prime minister amid a deepening rift over the government's reform agenda and how to resolve the worsening debt crisis. Political analysts said the speaker position could give the former premier a platform to challenge Faye, though Sonko moved to downplay that prospect. Bangladesh has requested a new IMF-supported program. Well, the IMF expressed commitment to support Dhaka achieve its long-lasting financial stability. Mission Chief for Bangladesh at the International Monetary Fund said the IMF remains a committed partner to Bangladesh in its efforts to secure lasting macroeconomic and financial stability, strengthen resilience and support strong, inclusive growth. Reports suggest Congress High Command has asked Siddaramaiah to step down as Karnataka Chief Minister. He is expected to resign by tomorrow. Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivakumar is seen as a leading contender to replace him. The Indian Navy thwarted a major attempt act of piracy in the Western Indian Ocean after receiving intel inputs about suspicious pirate activity targeting the merchant vessel MV Mashallah 1. According to the Navy, pirates were allegedly preparing to surround and target the merchant vessel when naval personnel launched a swift operation to intercept and neutralize the threat before any attack could take place. Officials said the pirates were planning to target the commercial vessel operating in the region, but the rapid response mounted by the Indian Navy prevented the situation from escalating into a major piracy incident. A fast-track court in Guwahati has framed charges against 7 people, including 4 for murder, in connection with the death of Assamese singer Zubeen Garg. Well, this comes 2 months after a court in Singapore found the 52-year-old who had died of accidental drowning with no foul play. The charges framed by the court include provisions related to common intention and participation in a crime by multiple persons, criminal conspiracy, murder, culpable homicide, which is not amounting to murder, extortion, cheating, criminal breach of trust and destruction of evidence. The development paves the way for a full-fledged trial. In Himachal Pradesh's Shimla, Tibetan Buddhist monks and members of the Tibetan exile community, along with the Buddhists across the Himalayan region, marked the Sechu festival with special prayers for peace in West Asia. Relentless overnight rain brought rare late May relief to Hyderabad and several Telangana districts, while heavy rains pulled temperatures down after days of severe heat wave conditions, even as India Meteorological Department warned of more thunderstorms, lightning and strong winds across the state. The IMD issued an orange warning for multiple districts, including Hyderabad, Karimnagar, Medak, Suryapat, among others. Massive forest fires have engulfed multiple areas in the Solan district of Himachal Pradesh, including Kasauli, Dharampur, Sanavar and Garkhal. Driven by surging temperatures, the blazes have prompted the deployment of Indian Air Force helicopters for aerial water dropping operations. Temperature records are toppling in a spring heat wave that is scorching parts of Western Europe, triggering government warnings about risks to life. Several drownings were reported in UK and France as people tried to cool down. Experts say unprecedented and deadly weather extremes that sometimes strike at abnormal times and in unusual places are putting more people in danger. Canada's proposed online safety bill C-22 has triggered strong opposition from Apple and Google, who are urging lawmakers to add judicial oversight to any secret government orders that could require access to encrypted data. The companies argue that such provisions could effectively force tech firms to create backdoors in their devices and services, weakening end-to-end encryption and user privacy. Both Apple and Google told a parliamentary committee that stronger safeguards are needed to ensure transparency and protect users, while Canadian authorities maintain the bill is designed to help law enforcement respond faster to security threats. A group of more than a dozen Republican attorneys generals have written a letter to the U.S. Congress opposing a children's online safety bill backed by House Republicans, exposing growing divisions within the party over social media regulations. The proposed Kids Internet and Digital Safety Act would require platforms like TikTok and Meta to introduce parental controls and limit data collection from minors. But the attorney generals argued the measure would weaken states' authority to pass their own tech regulations. The letter warned that the bill could undermine existing state-level child protection efforts and create new legal challenges over online safety rules. A data breach at convenience store chain 7-Eleven has reportedly affected more than 185,000 people, according to breach notification platform. But the breach exposed personal information including names, dates of birth, addresses, phone numbers and email IDs. According to the officials, hackers linked to the Shiny Hunters group, who gained access to an internal server containing franchisee documents, while some records also included social security and driver's license numbers. Volvo Cars has secured a special exemption from the Trump administration, allowing the automaker to continue selling vehicles in the United States with Chinese connected vehicle technology. The approval comes despite broader U.S. restrictions targeting software and hardware linked to Chinese companies over national security concerns. Volvo, which is majority owned by China's Geely Holdings, said the decision followed discussions with U.S. officials over governance, technology and data security, allowing the company to move ahead with its expansion plans in the American market. Universal Group Music and TikTok have renewed their licensing agreement with a new focus on removing unauthorized AI-generated music from the platform. The deal also aims to improve artist and songwriter attribution as concerns grow over the music industry, as fake AI-generated tracks mimicking major artists grow more. Well, the agreement follows tensions between the two companies in 2024 when UMG temporarily pulled its music catalog from TikTok over copyright and AI moderation concerns. During a conference in Australia, OpenAI CEO Sam Altman said artificial intelligence has not eliminated entry-level white-collar jobs at the scale he once feared, admitting his earlier expectations about AI's social and economic impact were pretty wrong. Altman said OpenAI's predictions about the technology itself were largely accurate, but the company misjudged how quickly AI would disrupt employment. He also said human interaction remains difficult to replace, adding that many people still value personal communication over AI-generated responses in daily work. Asian markets are mostly up as Japan's Nikkei and South Korea's Kospi hit new record highs today, driven by optimism over US-Iran ceasefire talks with strong tech-led gains on Wall Street. Samsung shares surged after workers approved a wage deal, easing fears of supply disruption in the global chip industry. Despite ongoing tensions and reported US strikes in Iran, while investors remain focused on the possibility of a diplomatic breakthrough even as the fragile ceasefire continues to be tested. US equities also closed at record levels, led by the S&P 500 and Nasdaq, while the Dow edged lower. Gold edged higher as the softer US dollar supported demand while investors monitored US-Iran peace talks and the outlook for Federal Reserve policy. Prices remain sensitive to inflation risks tied to the ongoing conflict. Markets are also watching for fresh US inflation data and Fed commentary for signals on the next policy move, as geopolitical tensions continues to drive volatility across commodities. Rising oil prices are also adding to inflation concerns, keeping gold in focus as a hedge. The Japanese yen hovered close to its recent lows against the US dollar, keeping traders alert for possible intervention as geopolitical tensions in West Asia continues to drive safe haven flows. Moves in other currencies were mixed, with the Australian dollar slipping after softer inflation data, while the New Zealand dollar gained after the central bank signaled possible future rate hikes. The US dollar remained firm as uncertainty over the Iran conflict and oil supply risks supported demand for safe haven assets. Markets now await key Japanese inflation data and central bank signals for direction on policy and currency stability. English Premier League side Crystal Palace had the chance to win their first ever European trophy when they faced Spanish side Rayo Vallecano in the final of the UEFA Europa Conference League final, which is later today. Oliver Glasner's side have had a solid campaign in the Conference League so far, but won't find it easy against Rayo, who have made it to the final in only their second European campaign in history. Rayo are 9 games unbeaten across competitions since losing 3-1 to the AEK Athens in the second leg of the quarterfinals after they had won the first leg 3-0. Chanel brought star power to Seoul as its Maîtresse d'Art 2026 show turned into a glamorous celebration of fashion and K-pop. Actor Tilda Swinton, Squid Game star Lee Byung-hun and Blackpink's Jennie were among the big names who attended the show at Centre Pompidou, Hanwha. K-pop Demon Hunters director Maggie Khan also joined the star-studded evening. Actor Ayushmann Khurrana joined Union Minister Mansukh Mandavia in Ahmedabad to celebrate Commonwealth Games Day during the 75th edition of Fit India Sundays on Cycle held at the Sabarmati riverfront. The event aimed to build excitement ahead of the 2030 Commonwealth Games in Ahmedabad. The star spoke about how initiatives like these are encouraging young Indians to embrace fitness and sports culture. Meanwhile, Hollywood star Julia Louis-Dreyfus is all set to make her Broadway debut this fall. The Emmy-winning actor will star in the play titled Other Desert Cities alongside Ed Harris and Joe Kerry. The story revolves around a politically conservative family whose holiday gathering takes a dramatic turn after their daughter reveals she has written a tell-all memoir. The play opens at New York's Hudson Theatre in the month of October. Producers from the Telugu film industry met Andhra Pradesh's Deputy Chief Minister to discuss key industry concerns. Producers, including Naga Vamshi and Ravi Shankar, said the meeting focused on issues impacting producers, exhibitors and theatre management. They shared that Pawan Kalyan assured the industry that the government would work towards finding long-term solutions and help resolve disputes through discussions and mutual understanding. Reality TV personality Lindsay Chrisley has found herself in legal trouble after being arrested in Georgia over DUI-related allegations. According to reports, she was taken into custody in Cherokee County and later released on bail. Chrisley faces multiple charges including DUI, reckless driving and speeding. The entertainment industry is mourning the loss of veteran actor Ramakant Dayama. The star breathed his last in Mumbai at the age of 69. The news was confirmed by co-actor Shubhangi Latkar through an emotional social media post. Dayama was known for his work across films, web series and television shows including Chak De India, Scam 1992, Farzi and more. He was also a familiar face in several popular daily soaps and stage productions.